Kim Jacobs, the Balance Doctor. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Be sure to subscribe to The Kim Jacobs Show right on YouTube. Turn on your notification bell to all so you never miss a beat. And guess what? Every time you watch, you're going to receive a real relevant and relatable guest that's going to share with you a piece of the puzzle on this journey called life that will help you be able to manage just a little bit smoother. At the end of the day, the Kim Jacobs Show goal is to be able to provide balance to the world, one household at a time.
Kim Jacobs Show. You're watching Kim Jacobs Show. Kim Jacobs Show.
Welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. How are you, Shameen? How's everything going?
Pretty good.
Good. I know we were doing with some stuff backstage, but I can tell you what, I am so excited and honored to have you here. You are the love magnet. I can feel it even through the virtual screen here. I can see why so much joy is just permeating through your heart. Listen, I actually wore a shirt today that has a bunch of hearts on it. I was like, okay, I gotta find something.
Amen.
Hearts and magnets.
And I wore red for love.
Love. I thought about wearing red. My chair is red. I was like, okay, we're gonna have a great time, right?
Amen.
I'm so excited. Listen, everybody, grab your virtual seats. We have a great show lined up for you today. Today, we're going to be talking about just being your authentic self. And by being your authentic self, it's going to draw success and love. To who? To you. So you don't want to miss this episode, and you definitely want to invite other people to be a part of today's discussion. So go ahead, grab your virtual seats. Let us know where you're visiting in from. And when we come back right after this first episode sponsor break, we're going to learn more about our wonderful guest, Shameen Coulter. Okay, we'll be right back right after this break.
I'm attorney Kenneth D. Snow, and at the Snow Legal Group, justice is our job.
For more than 20 years, Attorney Snow has been fighting for justice and winning cases in the Carolinas by providing aggressive representation in criminal defense, domestic violence, family law, serious injury, and wrongful death. If you've been injured or lost a loved one in an accident, including tractor trailer or rideshare, you need the Snow Legal Group by your side, fighting for justice and fighting for you. Visit snowlegal.com. Call 704-358-0026 for a free virtual consultation. Located at 6827 Fairview Road, Suite D in South Park.
All right, everyone, we're back and we're talking with Shameen Coulter, the love magnet. I almost called you the love bug, but you're the love magnet.
No.
Okay, so Shameen Coulter was born and raised in the Caribbean. And guess what? At the age of 34, the Lord supernaturally opened the door to Canada for her, where she became a Canadian citizen. She got saved at 30 because she saw one of her friends who got married soon after getting saved. So she thought, hey, I'll try it. That's what she thought. And little did she know that it would take 12 years before she would meet someone special that we're going to talk about on this episode today. And then some other things happened from there, hence the love magnet. Shameen Coulter is here on the Kim Jacobs Show. Welcome, Shameen.
Thank you. I am very humbled for you to have me here today. Truly, thank you. It's a great honor.
Well, I'm equally humbled by you being here today. And the thing is, guess what, Shameen? I had I looked at some of your story because you sent me the pictures and then you shared a few things, but I cannot wait for us to go on this roller coaster ride together into your journey called love. So, first of all, everybody that's out there, I just recently celebrated a birthday. I turned 52. So all of the photos and some video clips and things will be on my social media page. So definitely check that out throughout today. You'll see that. You'll also see a clip of my daughter who started her first job, Shameen, 14 years old.
Wow.
And I'm serious. I put a video clip on my YouTube channel. I put it on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram because I really want people's feedback as to what you would do in this situation. But I'm not going to take much time doing the show to determine it. But check it out and tell me, would you drive off That's the question. Would you drive off and leave your 14-year-old daughter on her first day of work as you drive out of the parking lot of Chick-fil-A? Or would you just kind of stay right there in the vicinity and wait till the shift is over? That's the question that I ask on my social media pages. So go answer those questions today and tell me your thoughts. I'd love to hear them. Shameen, talk to us and take us back. You said 30 years before you became a Canadian citizen. Tell us about
No, it
that.
wasn't that. Let me just give you the whole background before Canada and everything, okay?
Okay, tell us your background prior to
Yeah,
Canada. You were in Trinidad,
absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, growing up in a East Indian family, the girls usually get married very young. Okay, so I was going on my first date with my boyfriend, and my mom said, babe, Michael will want to hold your hands and he'll want to kiss you, and that's fine. But when it comes to sex, that is something you will save only for your husband. That's something special, and you save that only for your husband. Because if you're going to do that with him, he would think you could do that with everybody else, and he won't have any respect for you. So that got in my head, and it stayed there. So when Michael went to Canada, I was dating other guys because she said he could be seeing other people while you're here. So I don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So I was busy dating other guys. And then when we would break up, she would see me not crying. And she said, you didn't get a heartbreak. I said, I love with my head, not with my heart. By this time, she had changed her way of thinking, What she
This is
told
your
me,
mom.
my own mom, yes. So my mom wanted nothing more than to see me get married and settle down, but it wasn't going to happen because she was allowing me to go and date guys. And because I had this freedom to date guys, I didn't see the need to do anything that would betray that confidence she had in me. So breaking up with somebody was no big deal to me, I didn't.
Wait, because I totally had a different visual in my head.
Yeah.
So you're saying in your culture, it was okay for you to date other guys?
Oh yeah. Oh, you need to hear the the backstory. My mom, she wasn't allowed to see my dad. Okay, her parents forbade her. They were totally against that relationship because he came from a different culture and a different background, also social standing. So they were against that relationship. So the more they prevented her from seeing him, the stronger their love grew for each other. They had to write letters to each other, and they had to sneak around in order to meet. So with that experience, she decided when she had kids of her own, she was going to trust them so they can trust themselves and not have to be in the position she was in,
What?
Yeah.
So your mom did that. This is so important. Your mom and your dad had a forbidden love. Basically.
Totally.
A
Yeah.
totally forbidden
But the
love.
love of a lifetime.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So let me see if I can find a picture. Is this your mom and dad?
Yes.
Okay. So your mom and dad, against all odds, against
Yes.
family.
Well, when my dad asked her parents for her hand in marriage, they bluntly refused. So she had no choice but to pack her things and elope.
So your mama was bold. She's like, "Oh, this is my man. I'm doing this."
Because, he was 8 years older than her, but so what's the big deal, That's not a big age difference anyway. But my dad, he looked younger than his age anyway, and she was more mature for her age, so that was a perfect match. Anyway.
So what did your family do?
Oh, well,
Did
to take some shame off of their faces, they were well-respected people in the community. They decided to call the minister in and have a wedding for them, a formal wedding.
Okay.
Just to take some shame off their faces. So now they're happily married now. And then the baby started coming. My brother came, and then 18 months later, I came. Then 18 months later, my younger brother came, and then 7 years later, my younger sister shows up on the scene. I don't know why, but she came.
Wow. Okay. So you have I gotta stop you because I know some of the virtual studio audience is like, Kim, do not let Shameen just rush past this piece of the story, right? They're gonna be like, oh no. We want to understand a couple of things. So let me see who's watching. If you have any questions, comments about this love story that her mom and dad had. Okay, somebody said amazing energy, Amir said. Amir also said watching and enjoying from Kuwait. Glad to have you. Okay. Good morning, Kim and Jameen. Have an absolutely wonderful day. Phil Walters Music says, and we are glad to have you all tuning in. Listen, this forbidden love story brought about this beautiful person, Shameen Coulter, along with several siblings. When we come back after this commercial break, what we're going to find out is how did you come from growing up and having the philosophy you had the philosophy that your mom instilled in you. Oh, baby, don't worry about it. Just it's gonna be okay, and life is gonna be great, right? That's what I think I'm hearing. Correct?
Yes.
And don't.
Yes, she followed her heart.
So whatever your heart tells you, go with it. If your heart says it's breaking, it's breaking. If it says it's mended, it's mended. Let's just see where life's gonna take you. Okay. What a mom philosophy. I cannot wait to hear how that worked out for you right after this commercial break. This is good. Wow. We'll be taking this commercial break and we'll be right back, everybody.
It's not just another day, it's a brand new day, full of all the fun, love, and laughter you and your family create. Silver Shield Security understands feeling at home means feeling safe and happy. No credit checks, no contracts. We offer payment arrangements, and we'll even give you a free door camera. Find out how we can brighten your day even more at silvershield-security.com. Silver Shield Security.
All right, everybody. We're back talking with the beautiful love magnet, Shameen Coulter, and she's telling us as she's growing up, becoming into her own, her mom's philosophy kind of was resonating with her. Her boyfriend would go away. He went to Canada, and her heart didn't break whenever they broke up. Tell us more, Shameen.
Okay, so while Michael was away, I was dating Trevor for 3 years. Okay, and when we broke up, I really didn't have any big emotional entanglement with him. So it didn't, maybe I must have cried one night, but I was ready to fall in love the next day. So falling in and out of love was easy for me. It was no big emotional involvement on my part, you know. But then at age 30, I saw one of my friends got married soon after she got saved. So I thought, this thing works. I'm going to get saved too. But little did I know it was going to take me 12 long years before I would meet my husband. Now, my mom always said, if you can't enjoy your own company, don't expect anybody else to.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. If you can't enjoy your own company, then nobody else can.
Exactly.
I love myself.
Know yourself.
My own company.
Who you are.
But Shameen, guess what? The interesting part is some people don't know whether they really could enjoy their own company or not, because maybe they have never even been in a position to even have to be alone. Like I literally know for me, I had never gone to the movies by myself, like ever, since I was 18 years old until I was like about 50. And then I was like, oh, but I want to go to the movies. Well, nobody wants to go with me to the movies. So, well, guess what? Kim, you could go to the movies with yourself. And guess what? I go right in the theater, eat my popcorn and watch the movie and have a ball, like talking to the screen and everything. People be like, what is wrong with her? So you got to love yourself and love your own.
Totally.
So
Because
go ahead.
I never ever felt lonely. Okay. I hear people talk about being lonely, and never in my life have I ever felt lonely. Working in hospitality, you know, I was always among people. And when I left home, I was staying with my brother in Canada. So I always had somebody. I was never living alone. So I don't know if that was the thing, but I know that when I got saved, I know that God was with me all the time. And every step that I've ever made, I have seen his hand orchestrating every move. So I was working at this hotel. God supernaturally opened this job for me at this hotel where I was made PR manager. Do you want to know how that happened?
Of course, I want to know how that happened.
Okay.
Let me ask.
So
how did it happen for you to get the job that you got, Shameen? She's like, do you really want to know?
I saw where I wasn't tithing, and I saw where I was robbing the Lord. So I started tithing, and I saw how he was just increasing me financially. So I said, Lord, if I'm only tipping you with a tithe, what would happen if I were to give you $1,000? So I had this idea, I want to give him $1,000. So that week I would get a check in the mail for $1,025. It was an income tax refund I'd forgotten about. Now, if you knew me in those days, I'm looking at this check and thinking about all the dresses I could get for this money because clothes was a big idol in my life. But then I got this reminder that I wanted to give it to him, and he supernaturally provided it to me. So I just signed it over to my church. Then I got this call from this headhunter asking me if I'd be interested in doing a 2-week stint at Turtle Beach Hotel in Tobago. So I go there now and I'm enjoying it. I really, really like. I had a nice boss and his wife. They had no kids, so I was like a daughter to them. And when the 2-week stint was over, he created this job as PR manager. I said, Mr. Green, I can't do that. He said, Shameem, if I didn't think you'd be any good at it, I wouldn't offer it to you.
Right.
So I got into it now, organizing activities for the guests both days and evenings, hosting the manager's cocktail party every Monday night, getting to meet people all the time. I was totally in my element. I thought I died and went to heaven. But while I was at that hotel, I fell in love with an Englishman, and that wasn't meant to be. He was a Freemason. I don't know if you know anything about Freemasons, but my pastor's wife told me, Shameem, if you marry David, I just want you to know the devil is your father-in-law. Well, I was crushed when she told me that. But then he too, when he went back, he called and said he couldn't get over the death of his wife, and he didn't know how long that was going to take.
So that kind of worked itself out.
Exactly. So now I cried and I prayed and fasted and asked God for new direction for my life. I fasted on Friday. The following Monday, I would get a phone call from the Canadian Embassy asking me if I was still interested in going to Canada. Within 1 month, I got my landed immigrant papers to Canada. My interview was done on the phone. I didn't even have to go to the embassy.
Look how God is just working everything out for you.
I cried. When I got that phone call, I just went home and I cried. And I said, Lord, nobody could love me like you can. There's nobody can touch my heart like you. You know, so I go to Canada now. The first hotel I saw was the Sheraton Centre. I told my brother, I'd like to work there. He said, well, why don't you send your resume? I phoned them on the 30th of June and I started working the following day.
This is where at the embassy?
The Sheraton Centre in Toronto, when I moved to Toronto.
Wow. Okay, so when the passion that you have in your voice when you're talking about the Lord, I can hear it. It just resonates through your pores, and you're like, nobody can love you the way that the Lord loves you. And I know we're talking about the love story of how men come into your life and everything. But the thing that just stands out as I'm hearing you speak is the sincerity of how grateful you are to be loved by the Lord. So
Amen.
I just wanted to pause there for a moment. Okay, go
Amen.
ahead.
So when I resigned my job at the hotel in Tobago, the general manager from Rex Resorts from London, he came and offered me a job as group sales manager, where I would have been based in Grenada, overseeing the chain of hotels for them. And I turned him down because I would have been above my own boss. And I didn't feel comfortable about that. And I said, Mr. Penman, if I don't go to Canada, I will not know what I didn't do. And I would like to at least give Canada a try. So I go to Canada now. And the first hotel I saw was the Sheraton Centre. I started working at the front desk, starting from the bottom. It was very humbling because I had a day wardrobe and an evening wardrobe at the resort hotel. And now I have to wear a uniform, which is so not me. The only time I ever wore a uniform was in high school.
That is hilarious. So now where are you working again there in Canada?
I'm now at the Sheraton Centre, starting from
Okay.
the bottom, you know. But while I was at the hotel, I would do 4 10-hour days so I could get back-to-back days off, so I could get 6 days off at a time. Because
Right.
I love traveling and I like to hop on a flight and go somewhere. I traveled a lot in my singleness. I totally enjoyed. In fact, the Lord literally had me on a honeymoon with him for 7 years before literally serving me my husband, okay? So you have to get to that place in your life where you don't really need this person.
Right.
I was so busy traveling and enjoying my singleness that when he served me my husband, it happened just suddenly. Because
That's funny. The way you're even saying it, I know that people you're saying it just like as regular stuff, but everyone that's in the virtual studio audience, I hope that you're getting the wisdom of what she's sharing. She was traveling. She was enjoying God as she was just enjoying her personal relationship. She was not worried about a relationship with anybody else. And along came God serving her. She said, God served me. my man. That is huge. That's huge takeaway. God served her soulmate. Okay. That's huge. If y'all did not take notes on that, take notes on it. Don't be running around looking for somebody. Oh, who's
No,
out there for me? Who's out there for me? Who's out there for me? God knows who's
no.
out there for you. And he's going to bring that person to you.
Amen. Amen. My prayer was, Lord, I don't know if you have anybody out there for me because I dated doctors, lawyers, pilots, businessmen, you name it. And nothing ever, I never knew that it was them, you know. When you
Right.
meet one, you will know that you know that you know. And I can tell you for a fact it was never any of them. So I prayed and said, Lord, if you have anybody out there for me, I'd like him to look exactly like the Englishman, except he must be a fired up Christian.
So wait, you requested
I did.
of the Lord.
Because I couldn't trust God with choosing a man for me. I thought, Lord, what if you give me somebody short and fat and bald-headed and big-bellied wearing a
Oh my gosh, views, Mackenzie. I need the views comment put up. The views. I gotta put the views comment.
What am I gonna do? But God knows us better than we know ourselves, you know? He knows us so much better than we know ourselves. And he would, if we ask him for bread, he wouldn't give us a stone, you know? And the exact replica of this Englishman would walk up to me at that conference, telling me he has to talk to me. 3 times he comes up to me to talk to me and doesn't know what to say. I said, you know what? I think you need deliverance. The second time we spoke on the phone, this is after the conference, he asked me to marry him. I said, I want to have a normal courtship. He said, honey, I'll be courting you for the rest of my life. And then he wrote me this gorgeous poem. You want to hear it?
Of course we want to hear. Not yet, not yet. Okay, Shamim. Oh my gosh. Everybody tag some people and invite them into this broadcast. Do not let them miss the poem that her Englishman wrote to her.
No. This was my husband.
Oh, I know. I'm not confused, but he was looking like the Englishman,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So I'm not. Shamim, let me tell my version of things. I know he's not the Englishman for real. The Englishman was not for you. He's gone.
Yes.
But you requested of God someone that looked similar.
Totally.
And so that's why I'm calling him your Englishman. God answered your prayer.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, we're having so much fun here on the Kim Jacobs Show today. We're talking with Shamim Coulter, who is the love magnet, and she is going to tell us how a poem that her husband wrote to her only after what, 3 times that you all had a date?
We did not.
You never had a courtship.
Enough time to we just had enough time to exchange phone numbers. I returned to Canada. He returned to California. The second time we spoke on the phone, he asked me to marry him.
And then, so the third time was the poem.
Yeah, then he wrote me. So precious is tomorrow when love is here today. A mating of 2 hearts in beat. No need for words to say. So rendered weak a heart was all that it would take. When in her eyes I knew I found a love I could not fake. They say God so loved the world, he gave his only son. One miracle I pray is if you and I became one.
Oh, what was his name?
Rob Wilmot. He pitched for the Detroit Tigers. He was drop dead gorgeous. Not only was he drop dead gorgeous, but he did my heart so good.
Oh my gosh. And on top of that, you're drop dead gorgeous too. So it's not like he didn't have any beautiful trophy on his arm. Okay. So let's put that into perspective. All right. So when we come back after this commercial break, we're going to show you a picture of this love of her life that stole her heart at a very tender moment in her life. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Wow. Attorney Charles Everidge. We'll be right back.
When someone has lost a loved one, they want to know what exactly happened. They want to know, is the other person going to be held responsible? And they want closure. At Hunter and Everidge, we help clients that have lost a loved one move on, and to do that with dignity and respect that they deserve.
All right, and let's just pop this picture up of the love of her life.
Oh,
that was him. Tell us his name again. And
Rob Wilmot.
Rob. And
he was only 18 months older than me, but there was a big age gap, okay? Although he was 43 and I was 42. I was 42 going on 23 mentally, but he was a real 43-year-old.
Oh, wow.
Because after getting married, he said, honey, you're such a kid. I said, well, you didn't want to court me. You didn't want to get to know me. Take what you get now. You got a cat in the bag.
Right, right. So now it's time to have some fun, right? And so you feel like when it comes to being a love magnet, I just want to talk just from Rob alone for a moment. And I know we're going to talk some more, but when it comes to just drawing love to you, that right kind of love, you feel like God really did that for you.
He knitted us in the spirit from day one. He knitted us in the spirit. We had a spiritual connection before the Lord actually put us together.
Wow.
Totally.
And so what advice do you give to single people that may be tuning in today that are looking for that kind of spiritual connection?
Les Brown says, the mind believes, but the heart knows.
Yeah.
My mom knew when she met my dad that he was the one for her. One of my teachers also said, when you meet the one, you will know that you know that you know. You will have that knowing on the inside. If you don't have that knowing, forget about it.
Right.
And I can tell you from my own experience with all the boyfriends that I had dated me, I can tell you that I did not know it was any of them. So I could have been married several times over and divorced several times over by making the mistake, of marrying the wrong person. I was 42 years old when Rob asked me to marry him,
And you had never been married before?
I'd never been married before, no.
Oh my gosh. And had he been married before?
He was married and divorced, and he has 2 kids in Michigan.
Wow. Okay. And so, but for you, this was God's connection for you, and
totally,
you knew it.
Totally.
And so, what about people that are out here? They think that they have identified their soulmates and that they are living the life that God created for them, only to maybe find out something different than what they thought. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. We attract who we are on the inside. Nothing more, nothing less. If you want love in your life, you have to become love. And I follow, bearing the fruit of the Spirit, the love, the joy, the peace, the kindness, the patience, the humility. This is what, if you don't have those qualities in you. Another thing is, whenever I would get my heart broken, I will always wait until I was completely healed before I would enter into a relationship. You have to be whole. You can't expect to be a half glass full and expect another half to fill you. You have to be filled to overflow with that joy in order to add value to somebody else. You have to be filled to overflow. You cannot be a half cup and expect to have somebody else fill that cup for you.
So this is 2 full cups right here.
2 overflowing cups.
2 overflowing cups with Rob and with Shamim right here in this picture. Now, some things transpired, Shamim, and I know some of what happened. But what I want people to do is to hear what happened in your journey. How long were you married? And then what transpired?
Well, 2 years after getting married, we went to California to work with the ministry over there. Soon after arriving there, we found out I was pregnant. So the doctor said it's either you're having twins or you're further along in this pregnancy. So we went to have the ultrasound done, and there was no heartbeat in the baby. So they had to operate on me to remove the baby. So we spent the weekend in the hospital, and then the following day when we returned to the ministry, they told us that they couldn't honor the commitment they made to us, and they were releasing us. So all of a sudden, we found ourselves without a job, without a home, without any money.
Oh my God.
What do you do? The psalmist David said, I've been young, but now I'm old, but I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Right. This family opened up their home to us. We spent about a month with them. My husband got a job. We found our own place, and then he went and he got his contractor's license, and God just started blessing and increasing us, and we were just flourishing, and we were just enjoying bliss. It was utter bliss. until that fateful day on the 12th of April 2005, I would get a knock on my door with a police officer showing me my husband's driver's license, asking me if I recognize him. I asked, was there an accident? Was he killed? I knew the answer in my heart, and the police officer confirmed it with a yes. You know, growing up in faith, it was my faith that kept me from going insane. There was a hymn we used to sing in the Presbyterian Church. Will your anchor hold in the storms of life, when the clouds unfold their winds of strife, when the strong tides lift and the cables strain, will your anchor drift or firm remain? We have an anchor that keeps the soul steadfast and sure while the billows roll, fastened to the rock which cannot move. It's grounded firm and deep in the Savior's love. And there was this scripture as well that came to me, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trials which is to try you, as though some strange thing has happened, but rejoice inasmuch as you're a partaker of Christ's sufferings, that when his glory will be revealed, you will be glad also with exceeding joy. As I went to the coroner's office to get his incidentals, I'm thinking, I don't know how to do a funeral or anything. And someone slipped a number in my hand. It was the funeral parlor. I had to pick the casket out and give them his clothes and shoes and what he was going to wear. And we shipped his body to Michigan. We had the funeral in Michigan. I did the eulogy there. We came back to California. We had a memorial, and I did the memorial there. And I gave everything and went back to Canada because I knew soon after Rob died, I was going to die too. So I spent a year in Canada and I didn't die.
Stop there for 1 second. When you say you knew that
Yeah.
soon after you were going to die,
Yeah.
what made you feel that? What was that?
Because I already got my dream fulfilled. I already lived a life of bliss. And I know that I got everything that I ever prayed for. So, and I know that nobody will ever measure up to him. You know, I know after having that experience, no man will ever measure up to Rob. And so I was just going through the motions, waiting for my turn to die.
And that's right there, that's so, it's so true. I can't. Yeah, that's so true. And it's such a true statement and it's something that you actually feel inside your heart. It's
Yeah.
a pain. It's a pain that's there that people don't understand. I know when my son passed away, I thought I was going to die. I thought I was
Yeah.
going to die. And whether I wanted to or not because I thought I was going to commit suicide or anything, because
No.
I was not going to, but because of the pain that my heart felt. My
Yeah.
heart felt like it was breaking. I was like, my
Yeah.
heart is breaking. So I
Right.
actually, I told some family, if I
Mhm.
should die, it's because I died of a broken heart.
Exactly.
And but guess what, Shamim? I think too, now that I've experienced some more things in my life, I believe that there are times in life that you can be very much alive,
Mhm.
walking on this earth, and depending upon the circumstances and situations that's happening in your life, you could still feel that same level of heaviness and brokenness in your heart.
Mhm.
And I know I personally have, yet again, I felt
Yeah.
that level of break in my heart again in this lifetime. So it's like, oh gosh, how much can a heart take?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so to hear you say that is, I just know that is so true. And I really want people that may be watching to know that if you're feeling that kind of pain and agony in your heart, get help and ask for God to intervene. Pray, go get counseling, surround yourself with friends and family and people that love and celebrate you. But don't go at it alone, because you will succumb to it if you do.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yes. Amen. So after spending a year in Canada and a year back in California, some of our friends who had heard Rob had died, they called and asked if I'd like to come spend some time with them in Arizona. So soon after arriving in Arizona, I would go to church one evening and I saw this tall, gorgeous hunk of masculinity.
That's a shame. God did not take your ability to open them eyeballs. And see somebody I'm not trying to turn it into a joke, but that is hilarious that you like look in midst of all my heartbreak, crying and tears like this. I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. He is fine. Shameen, how you gonna have me crying at one moment and then you go to church and you
I know. So, but listen to this. He came and he sat next to a woman in church and he had his arms around her too. So I thought, oh my God, I'm looking at a married man. What's wrong with me? I'm a widow. I'm going to be a widow for the rest of my life.
Okay, stop right there. We got to take a commercial break. Shameen Coulter, y'all, this woman is a trip. She done took us on all kind of emotional roller coasters today. She is the love magnet, clearly. And she just introduced us to the love of her life. And I do want to go back and just give honor to your husband, Rob. And Rob unfortunately passed away and tragically passed away. And so that was what she felt was the soulmate of her life. And God had blessed her tremendously. So now we fast forward. We're going to take a commercial break. And when we come back, this woman right here, Shameen, she done had me over here crying, looking at somebody else in church now. She's a widow. She's a widow, y'all. I don't know how we can turn a laughter moment into a widow, but she's a widow and she's crying, and out of the corner of her eye, she sees somebody fine, right? So we're going to learn more about this fine being after this commercial break. We'll be right back. Wow.
Nothing says I love you more than final expense insurance whole life protection. With funeral advocacy nationwide, saving you and your family 30 to 80% off funerals and cremations. Nothing says I love you more than Get Insured Solutions, LLC. GetInsured.Solutions. 704-499-3616.
All right. And we are back with Shameen Coulter. Shameen, okay, now I don't know what emotion you're going to yank out of us next, but tell us, you're in church. This man is handsome and he has his arm wrapped around another woman.
Imagine that. So the following Sunday was Easter Sunday. He walked right up to me, introduced himself to me. We started talking, and we never stopped talking after that.
What happened to the woman? Girl, you know you can't leave the other woman out. Who was the woman? Who was she?
I asked him, and it was somebody who was interested in him. But he had to have been interested in her too, because his arms were around her, you know. But he said no. When I asked him about her, she said, "No, Dale is a country boy, okay." So he said she told me, if ever I want to hook up, I could call her. What does she mean by that? I said, I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. I don't know what a hookup is, you know. So what is it?
You're hilarious. Oh, that was a silent laugh. I was laughing, but I was laughing inside. Like.
So anyway, well, I guess he obviously wasn't that interested in her, you know, because he kept insisting on wanting to see me, wanting to talk to me. So we talked to each other every Sunday and every Wednesday. This went on for 2 months without even exchanging phone numbers. Okay.
Okay. So every Sunday, that's where y'all met. So
that's what we were looking forward to. But listen to this, poor guy. He didn't get to sit with me in church for the entire time, okay? He could tell from my body language that sitting next to me was out of the question. I was so full of whatever it was. Anyway.
So where did he sit?
He sat behind me in the other pew, you know?
Oh, so he just looked at you from the back, like
yeah. He could only look at me from behind while I'm
so he was not paying attention to the service at all. He just looked at the back of your head the whole time. Okay, carry on.
Memorial Day weekend. Now, this past weekend, that weekend, we got invited to the same pool party, and it was there we exchanged phone numbers for the first time.
Oh, so he saw you in that bathing suit.
No, we didn't even go to the pool. We didn't even use the pool. No. I would not be seen in a swimsuit while I'm not married to you. No way. That was out of the question.
Wow. Okay, so this is like a true love story. So he didn't have your phone number. He came to
No.
church. He came to church. He sat behind you, and
Yeah.
the most he saw was you flinging your hair, praising the Lord. And that's all he really
That's
got.
all he saw. A woman in love with Jesus. That's all he saw. So he called me now. He has my phone number. He called and invited me out to dinner. We were the first to get to the restaurant and the last to leave. So many times we would make attempts to part, and it wasn't happening. So anyway, the following week I returned to California. I was supposed to be gone a month. I came back after 2 weeks and he asked me to marry him. I said, "How old are you?" He said, 37. I said, "What? Bye. It was nice meeting you." He said, "What did I say? What's wrong with that?" I said, "I didn't know you were so young." He said, "What does age have to do with anything?" I said, "It has to do with everything." He said, "Don't you? I don't understand what you're talking about." I said, "Dale, you need to know how old I am, okay? Because this is not going to work. I am 50 going on 51. He said, "So what? Age is just a number." The next week, he comes and introduces me to his parents. And the first thing I did was tell his mom how old I was. And she said, "Shamim, age is just a number. Besides, the men die out younger than the women." I'm thinking, what is wrong with these people? You know, this is their son they're dealing with, you know. They're just going to send him off with an older woman, you know. They don't love him that much, you know.
Oh, you're saying some funny stuff. Oh my gosh. How can any talk show stay focused? Okay. So you're the mom and dad, they approved.
They were smitten by me. I mean, from the moment they met me, they were totally in love with me.
That is hilarious. So now you have full buy-in from now you're really in cougar mode, right? At this point.
Totally.
You're 50 going on 50.
I mean, although I was 50 going on 51, I should have sent you a photo when I was that age. I look really, really young for my age. By the way, I'm 65, okay?
Oh, well, you look really young for your age now. I didn't know. I was like, well, how old could this woman be?
Throughout my life, I've always looked a lot younger than my age. Anyway, so now he comes to pick me up.
Don't you all love Shamim? Hashtag Shamim. And put a 1 in the comments. Put a 1 in the comments if you just absolutely love Shamim. Okay, go ahead.
So the following week, now he comes to pick me up to go to church, and he's on the phone. I couldn't hear the person on the other side, but all I could hear, I hear you. I understand. I agree with you. But not once did he ever say, "Look, Mom, this is my life and I'm going to do what I'm going to do." She probably was telling him, "You only just met her and you're going to marry her already," you know.
This is his mom?
It was his mom, yes.
Oh, so then he's like, she's like, it's okay to date this older chick, but what you talking about? You gonna marry her? That's going too far.
Like so soon, you know, because he hadn't met me 3 months and he wanted to marry me right away, you know. But 2 months after exchanging phone numbers, we were married, you know. This July, we're going to be celebrating 15 years of wedded bliss. And I'm telling you, I got love and perfection personified, not once, but twice. You know?
Okay, so y'all, we have to go. I got to take y'all back for a second. We're going to go here. This was her first true love marriage. And she became a widow when Rob passed away tragically. Now, God blessed her yet again with this beautiful gem. And so that looks straight like something out of a movie. I'm telling you, that shot alone is a movie shot, right? And so God blessed her again. And what is your husband's name this time?
Dale. This photo was taken just before he locked lips with me.
And Mackenzie said that sounds like a match made in heaven.
In heaven, totally.
Awesome. And then somebody else, I saw Dr. Nefertina Serrano is on too. Oh, her and her husband have a show that's coming out called The Serrano Show. And they're the marriage CEOs.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's amazing. They have like a rescue covenant situation where they help marriages that are in trouble. And those that just need maintenance, and even those that want to be able to just know how to better maintain their marriage, period. So Dr. Nefertina Serrano said, it sounds like a movie. It does, doesn't it? This is awesome. All right, so tell us some other things now that
Yes.
you've been married for 15 years. Tell us
15
about
years, and
something.
you know what, Kim? Excuse me.
Take your time. Take your time. Let's take an actual. We're going to go to, I'm going to play the next commercial, Mackenzie, since I didn't tell you what it was. And I will be right back right after our next commercial break. We'll be right back.
I'm attorney Charles Everidge. I started out representing insurance companies until my father was seriously injured at work. 4 of his fingers were amputated. Our family went through a lot, so I know what you're going through as an injured worker. If you've been hurt on the job, call me now. I'll fight to get the workers' comp benefits you may deserve. I'll fight for you like family. Put my experience to work for you. Call 704-457-5000, the first call for injured workers.
Right, everyone, and we're back. We've been talking with Shamim Coulter, and what's happening is she's going to tell us some things just about her for a few minutes, because we've learned a lot about you, marital bliss, becoming a widow, remarrying, being married to a younger man, then also now being married for 15 years to this love of your life. But talk to us, if you don't mind, Shamim, about some things that, just about you, some things you want to tell us about yourself.
Well, you know, the sooner we get to know ourselves, know who you are, know your worth, know your value. You know, when you hold yourself to a higher standard, you know, people would notice, you know. Nobody wants, well, maybe I'm talking only for myself, but you can tell from people's body language, okay? If you know, throughout my dating life, nobody ever wanted to go to bed with me. Nobody ever tried to get me to go to bed with them. And I believe it is the way you carry yourself. Your deportment has a lot to do with it. You know, how you present yourself is how other people will receive you.
That's
you know,
interesting.
they would know, you know where to draw the line, you know, and they will not go beyond that. But that used to bother me as a single person, because all my friends were doing this thing, and, you know,
doing this thing.
But you know what? Dale and I were, of course, we never did anything before we got married. Dale is 6'8", okay, and very lean. I don't know what picture you can imagine there, but I had no clue what I was getting myself into when I got married, okay? It wasn't happening on the wedding night.
You are okay. You done gave me a visual over here. I'm like, how tall is this man? He's like, come over here, baby. And you're like, not today.
I said, Dale, we're gonna have to settle for hugs and kisses for the rest of our life, because this is not. But with much gentle perseverance and loving, you know, it happened. We had breakthrough on the 3rd night.
Okay.
Ever since. But the thing is, neither one of my husbands tried to get me to sleep with them before marrying me, you know, and that says a lot for who you are. You know, it doesn't, it speaks volumes. And when you keep yourself, I believe in Psalm 1, he said, blessed is the man that walk not in the counsel of the ungodly.
That's right.
Not sit in the seat of the scornful. The seat of the scornful means being fornicating, you know. And I never wanted to be outside of that umbrella of God's protection, you know. So I didn't want to invite the devil into my relationship.
Right.
So, and I believe it was because of that God has blessed me immensely in love, you know.
Well, let me say this. Dr. Nefertina said, yes, I said that too. And she also said, absolutely, keeping it 100. Wow. And she also said something that I saw earlier where it says you still look 50 and fabulous.
Thank you.
Regardless of what your age is, you look 50 and fabulous. I did see that comment come through. So you
going in 15 years this July, we've never had a fight or anything. You know, it's been just so loving and peaceful. He would call me on his way home from work. Honey, I'm just about 5 minutes away from the house. When I open that door, the only thing I want to see you wearing is your smile.
Okie dokie.
Listen to this. So a few weeks ago, I have this high pitched voice, and I can come across as if I'm talking in a condescending way. So he said, "Why are you talking down to me?" I said, "What? Where did that come from? How could you think I'm talking down to you?" I said, "Dale, I would never talk down to you." So he was sitting on the love seat. So I went and I straddled myself over him. And
Oh
he
gosh, you mean you giving me all kinds of visuals?
no, and he squeezed me and he said, "Shamim, I love you, and I know your heart's in the right place." So what could have been something blown out of proportion,
Look down at the comment right there. Look down for a second. Mackenzie backstage popped this up for me. She's like, put up here because we don't know what this woman's saying.
Oh my God.
You can take it off, Mackenzie. That's hilarious.
But what could have been something blown out of proportion got diffused in just a moment.
Right.
Right. But that was it. That was the big hoopla in the 15 years we've been married so far. I know we have a long way to go. So God alone knows what could pop up. But, the whole thing is Dale loves peace. He likes, he doesn't demand too much. In fact, he's very low maintenance, And my first husband was the same thing, just low maintenance. I thought when I got married, my husband would love me more than anything, but for my cooking, Neither one of them could be bothered whether I cooked or not. Can you imagine that?
Right. Yeah, no, I cannot. Yeah. And he's not even worried about that one way or the other.
No. I mean, he's just a meat and potatoes guy, regular, typical American,
Typical American. You're hilarious.
Oh, another thing too. When I was married to Rob, and I know she would say this does not express the views of the kingdom. So I'm letting you know in advance. We would go to church, go have lunch, and then go home and make love all afternoon. Okay? Years later now, I get married to Dale, and it's the same thing. And I'm wondering, are all American men like this? Or is it just, did Rob tell Dale this is what you do? I don't know. And I don't know if I'll ever know.
That is just so wonderful. The love story is nothing short of amazing that God would even bless you that way. Somebody wanted to know, do you have children?
And we had 5 miscarriages in my first marriage, but I was so relieved every time I had a miscarriage because I never saw myself as a mom. Having babies, having kids, I saw that as a huge responsibility, and raising this child to ensure that this child grow up in the right way and not get.
Now I want to drive out of the Chick-fil-A parking lot when they start a job.
Oh my goodness, you're very. I am so in awe of you. Having 5 kids, and that is phenomenal to me. Even if you have one child, that is phenomenal to me. I looked at that as. And then to go through the pain of birthing a baby and all that was just not my cup of tea,
Right. And everything's different. Everybody's different. So whatever.
And I think that's why I have so much fun too.
Yes, yeah. You definitely don't get to come on and make love all Sunday afternoon and come on because of some dinner.
But the thing is, like I said, we attract who we are on the inside. If you do the inner work on the inside before even entertaining the thought of getting married, you have it made. You will not have the problems that a lot of people have when they get married. Do take the time to work on yourself. My mom used to tell me, go spend some time alone, get in the closet and talk to God, be honest with God. And I would go in there and I would come up bowled over in tears because I would see other people how they are, and she would say it could be a reflection of who you are, and I would go and I'd come out, and the thing is, every tearful experience, I knew that I had an encounter. I knew that some transformation was taking place on the inside of me, and we have to become that person we want to marry. We cannot expect to have stuff like envy and jealousy and bitterness and resentment and stuff harboring in our hearts. That is a recipe for disaster.
I
But
agree with you.
yeah,
Everything that you're saying the love that we give is the love that we can receive back. But then
exactly.
I do believe that there are people that genuinely do give a lot of love and they don't
Yeah.
always get that back in return. I don't know what that theory is or where it comes from, but it doesn't always work. I don't know what to do about those situations because I have all kinds of people that come on the show, and it's like, and I know some of them are extremely loving people, and they have the sincerest of intentions, but then what they get back is not always like what I see them putting out. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like, wow, I wonder why they don't get the same level of treatment that they give out because they give out good love and
yeah,
compassion. You know.
yes.
Oh, somebody said, Dr.
The
Nefertina said
33rd
July
anniversary.
1st is their 33rd wedding anniversary. To God be the glory, me and my forever
Amen.
love. So excited for you, Shameen.
Amen. Amen.
Oh, does she help others attract their love?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a good question, Paula. And Paula is an author as well. So let's see. And I think your book is it Why Not Me or something? You know what? I don't want to start yelling out titles, but I know I love your book. Oh, she said, I love her energy. Yes.
Oh.
Okay, let me tell you how, let people know how they can stay connected with you. Let's give them that information. Shameen, tell them how they can stay connected with you.
Oh, I mean, my handle on Instagram is Giver of Dreams. My phone number is 602-228-9932. So feel free to call me or connect with me through Instagram. I'd be more than happy to connect with you.
All right, y'all. So you can definitely connect with her and you will not be disappointed. I can promise you that. This woman is a love magnet and she knows exactly what she's talking about when it comes to you attracting the love that you deserve. Not just any old love, but a love that is supernaturally blessed.
Yes.
And that's what I think I like the most about what you're sharing is that it's a supernatural
Yeah.
blessing that's coming your way. If you attract what you put out,
Mhm.
and is that like kind of like the law of attraction perspective? Where do you get this philosophy from? Is it from
You know, my
God? Is it
dad told me we attract who we are on the inside because, I have a younger sister who's divorced and she was married to an abusive husband. And I was talking to him one day. I said, Daddy, I don't understand how Wendy could have that in her life. We came from the same parents, the same home. How come? He said, it's how you think of yourself, who you are on the inside. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he,
yeah.
and that is what we attract in our experience.
Well, this is good information. Okay, so listen, everybody, I'm going to put the contact information here in the actual comments too. So you don't have to try to type all of that. You can just copy and paste what you see here. I do want to let you all know too that on June 8th, we have our upcoming eWomen Network Women's Summit, which is taking place here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it's the 13th annual Women's Summit. We have Sandra Yancey, who's a CNN hero. She's actually one of the CNN heroes and a 6-time best-selling author. She's going to be here in Charlotte, North Carolina. The tickets are reasonably priced, so definitely go right here to the eWomen Network registration link, and you can copy and paste that. And I'm the managing director here in Charlotte, North Carolina now, just so you know that as well. And if you go to ewomennetwork.com, you can learn more about the organization. And Sandra Yancey is our speaker on June 8th. So I want you to know that. On tomorrow, we have a resilient mindset. That's going to be our guest is Dr. Ann will be here to talk about how important it is to have a resilient mindset. You don't want to miss that episode. So look forward to seeing you tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Shameen, you have just won my heart. Oh,
Oh, I love you.
I love you. I love having you here, and I love all of you in the virtual studio audience. I love you, Mackenzie and Remy backstage. I love everybody. So I love people. Whether I've
Yeah.
ever had an issue with you, whether you've ever had an issue with me,
Yes.
I still love you. And,
I'm
and
like
sometimes,
that.
sometimes I'll have people say, please don't say you love that person anymore. I promise to God, I cannot help. I still, even though some people have wronged me beyond,
Yeah.
you could not imagine how bad they have wronged me.
Yeah.
But guess what? I still love them.
Because your heart has to be right with
I
them.
don't know why. I still love them, but I love them. And I do. I genuinely do. I love them. So What can you do about that, right? All right. Have a great day, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Shamim, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, close out, Mackenzie. Wow. Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of The Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world, one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on The Kim Jacobs Show.